they were forming their own ideas about the world, they were learning about and absorbing the ideals of ancient Greece and Rome. It is no wonder that when they were building the foundations of the American government, they looked to ancient Greece and Rome for inspiration. So I want you to quickly think, pair, share with your partner, why were the founders of America so influenced by ancient Greece and Rome? So based on what we just read, think, pair, share, why were they so influenced by ancient Greece and Rome? So I should hear a quiet discussion with your partner. Think you got it?
No, yeah, I'm not.
Lord, you know you got it. Why were the founders of America so influenced by ancient Greece? All right, let's bring it together in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Okay, so can somebody share up the answer by raising your hand? What do you think? Why do you think they were so influenced by ancient Greece and Rome? Nui.
Because they saw themselves very much like Greeks and Romans.
Okay, they saw themselves very much like Greeks and Romans. So did they think they were supposed to wear togas and like dress like them and behave like them?
Yeah.
What did they think? What did they think? Sakari?
And they were absorbing the ideas of ancient Greece.
They were absorbing the ideas of ancient Greece. Very good. So I actually want you to paraphrase a little bit. Don't read to me directly from the passage. What does it mean? So you have to digest this. What does the passage mean? What is it saying? They were influenced by them because. You want to give it a try? What do you have? What did you guys discuss when you were talking?
Because they probably wanted to learn about more of their history.
Okay, because they probably wanted to learn about more of their history. So going back to the text, the quote says that they were soaked in these ideas, in these classical ideas. Okay. Also, it says that they saw themselves as actors on this stage. So they had all received a classical education. That first line of the second paragraph, they had all received a classical education. So as they were forming their own ideas about the world, they were learning about and absorbing ideas of ancient Greece. So when they were in school, just like you guys, they were learning about how things went back then. And based on those ideas, probably about their college level, they're like, okay, well, this was how these great democracies were run. Well, we're getting ready to start our own country. Maybe we should take some of their ideas and use them. And that's basically what happened. So our entire system of government is founded a lot like these other countries. So that's what we're going to be looking for. As we read, we're going to be reading about the political system of Athens specifically, and how the things we took from Athens, and then the things that we took from the Roman democracy itself. So we're starting with political systems, democracy in Athens, and I'm going to popcorn to Kalia.
Ancient Greece was not a single unified nation. The mountains of the Greek
Peninsula
made travel and communication difficult. Therefore,
Local.
local communities began to form.
Are there any words in there that you aren't familiar with?
Those 3 words.
Of the 3 that I wrote? Oh, great. So what are we supposed to do when we don't know a word? Break it
Sound it out.
Sound it out. It's your hand. Malati. I'm going to start by clarifying. So when you're close reading and you don't recognize a word, you need to be underlining, putting a box around it, putting a question mark, something so you know to come back to that term. Because if you don't recognize a word and you just keep reading, is that going to help you figure it out? No. So, to figure out these 3 words, we're going to use context clues and what we already know. So I already told you what democracy is. Now, if we use the root word or the ending of "pracy" or "archy," right? Have you guys ever heard of a monarchy? Can somebody raise their hand and tell me what they remember about a monarchy?
It sounds like
Yes, Shay?
it says over here that there will be a group of powerful leaders.
Okay, so that goes with oligarchy. Okay, so in Corinth, there were oligarchies. That is, they were ruled by a group of powerful leaders. So we now know what an oligarchy is. It is ruled by a group of powerful leaders. Now, a democracy is ruled by the people. An oligarchy is now ruled by a small group of people. And so we can take that even further and using our prefix, no, that's a suffix. What is that? Let's think, monotheism, anybody remember? You guys are so forgetful.
No.
We have polygons, which means many, right? So poly is many, mono is
Little.
monochrome, monotone,
One.
one. Thank you. Mono is one, like monopoly. So I want you guys to start being able to use words to break down other words. That's not the focus though. So let's go back to this. So a monarchy is ruled by one. A king or a queen, pair, something like that. But it's ruled by like one centralized figure. So in England right now, they have a monarchy still, Queen Elizabeth. Okay, so that's our main example of a monarchy, and many ancient nations were ruled that way. So we're turning, we should be at the top of the second page now. Democracy developed in Athens in the 1500s during periods of conflict and unrest. Let's go back. So your questions for your notes, almost skipped that. Your questions for your notes. Why were the founders of the U.S. We talk about the mountainous terrain of the Greek peninsula made travel and communication difficult. Therefore, local communities began to form their own political. When we think of our democracy, who makes the rules here? By raising your hand, who makes the rules here? Do we sit down in our rooms at home and write down the rules that we want? No. So who does it? What happens? Just the mayor? Okay. The mayor's one person. Who else? The government? So who's the government made up of? Sorry. The government is described as a democracy. So who is the government made up of? How do these people come there? The people in the community, okay, so the people in the community come together and have elections. And they say, okay, I want this person to represent me. Okay, so we get together and we say, okay, I like your ideas. Why don't you go up to the White House or to Washington where all the other political people are? Why don't you go up there and make these rules? Because we, the people, we are responsible for some of these decisions, but when you break it down, we have our everyday lives to take care of, right? So we are not, Isaac, stop tapping this, or you can go to Ms. Sharpson. So when we don't have time every day to go through that, so we elect people to go do that for us. But a direct democracy in Athens, they weren't electing people. They did things in a way that they had actual citizens go in and make decisions. So as we're reading, we're going to look for evidence of that, okay? So democracy developed in Athens in the 500s BCE during periods of conflict and unrest. In attempts to achieve peace, reforming rulers gradually allowed citizens to take part in the city-state's government. A series of reforms took power from a handful of noble families and gave it to the citizenry. And that just means gave it to the citizens of that country. So the government of Athens included three major bodies: the Assembly, the Council of 500, and the People's Court. Lily, can you read the Assembly for me?
The Assembly, all male affiliated citizens were members of the Assembly, which met regularly to discuss and vote on issues that affected every aspect of Athenian life. Citizens were paid for their participation in the Assembly, so that even the poor citizens could take time from their work to participate in it.
What a concept, right? So imagine that. If your parents could take off work for one day and get paid to go make choices that affect who? You. Okay? You guys. So this form of democracy allowed the actual everyday people to go into what they would call, let's say, a chamber of rulers and make decisions. So they would go in and they'd be allowed to vote or participate directly in the choices that were made that govern the people. Thank you, Lily. The Council of 500, Becky, can you read that for me?